Hey guys, welcome back. So guys, we are continuing our POS system in PHP. So now guys, in previous video we have done the admin panel setup and file structure. So now guys, in this video we are going to start with the database connection and creating function for create, read, update and delete and fetch also the data by ID. So now guys, let's get started. So first let's move to our editor. Okay, so let me close all the files. All set. And now guys, on this root directory, let's create one folder called config, config config. And inside that config, create a db that is database connection dbcon.php file. So now guys, let's give the database connectivity here. So open PHP, close PHP. Let's use define function, define, where inside this db server, that is your host, local host. Okay, let's copy and paste. Then will be the username db username, copy and paste again db password which is going to be null, and then db database name. Okay, database, the database name. So guys, I have already created a database here, that is POS system PHP. Okay, so let's copy this database name and get back and paste it. All set. And now guys, let's create the connectivity here using mysqli connect function. Okay, so first will be your db server, the local host, then the db username, so db underscore username, then password db underscore password, and then finally the database db underscore database connectivity. Perfect. And now guys, let us check the connection here. So user if condition and not symbol variable connection. Okay, so if it fails, then use a die function to stop the execution of your application. Okay, so here you can tell connection failed colon and just concatenate and use a mysqli connect error function. Okay, to display the error message of your database. So now guys, let's save, and we have successfully done with the database connectivity here. And now let's create one function.php file, function.php. So here we are going to create all the basic functions required to build this application. Done. Yep. So let's open PHP and close PHP. Okay, so it's little smaller. Let me just zoom and show you the output, and let's get back to function. So first step, we will start the session. Like if we are using session for message and all, that time we can use this session part. Okay, so you can just use this session start at the beginning of your page. Start with the input validations. Okay, so let me create a function name as validate function, open and close curly brace, and get the database connection. So inside a function, you have to get using global. Okay, and where is this variable? So this variable is inside this dbcon.php, so we need to include that path. Okay, so let's require the dbcon.php file. Perfect. Done. So our database is included, and now you can use this variable connection. And now guys, you can create one validated data equal to mysql I underscore real escape string. Okay, which will help you to remove unwanted codes and give the correct string input. Okay, so here will be your input field value, that is input data, and we will be getting this from a variable, I mean from the function. So yep, and now let's return this variable, return using a trim function. I'm going to send it. Perfect. So one function is ready. This is for the input field validation. Input field validation. Okay. And now let's begin with the second function, that is a redirecting part. Okay. So if you want to redirect from one page to another page, so let's write a comment here. Redirect from one page to another page with the message. Okay, so message is nothing but status. So now guys, let's write the function here. Function that is redirect function, open and close curly brace. So the path you are going to send is URL and the message you are going to send is status. Okay, and now guys, let's use a session to show the status or a message. So use a variable called session of status equal to your variable which you are getting from the function. Now use a header function to redirect. So user location and just concatenate the variable called URL. So in this URL you are going to send the product.php, index.php and any other files. Okay, and once done you can exit of 0. Done, save it. So our redirection code is done. And now guys, let's write the third function for showing the messages, like once the you update or create record, delete or edit record, so we need to show the message, right? Display messages or status after any process. Okay, done. And now let's create the function, and the function name will be alert message function, open and close. So now guys, let's use a if condition to check whether the message is set or not. So we can use that is set function to check the message is set or not with the session. Okay, so here we are using a message, like when you're redirecting we are setting a status, right? Session of status, that is understood as message. So we will check that if it is set, then you're going to display the message echo. You can directly use this in any h5 tag or 4 tag, and once it is shown you can unset that session at spot. Okay, done. So now guys, I just don't want to show in this format, I want to show in a few different design formats. So we can go to getbootstrap.com. So let's go on docs and search for alert. So we are on the alert and here you find dismissing. Okay, so here is a alert code. Let's copy this and get back and paste here. Perfect. So now guys, what we are going to do, we'll use this echo here and single quote and here and with single quote and semicolon. Done. And you need to show the message at this spot. So what we are going to do, we'll be concatenating it, single quotes and then double dot inside that and paste that variable. Perfect. That's it guys. So everything is clear, and if you want you can just put this in a h6 tag. So our displaying of messages is done. And now guys, let's begin with the CRUD of your function. So basically it's nothing but create, read, update and delete part. So let's begin with the first, like creating it. Okay, insert record using this function. So create the function name, insert function. Now guys, first step, let's create the database connection. So use a global $con. So that is your connection. And now let's get the table name equal to the table name from where you'll get from this function. So let's tell table name comma and your data. So data is nothing but the input field value, which is going to be in a format of array. So first we are going to use the validate function to validate the string value whatever you get and pass here. So this validate function we have created at here. Let me show you. So this is the function we are using now. So it's useful now. So we are utilizing this function here also. Perfect. So now guys, let's get this data and create one variable called columns equal to array of keys, keys keys function, and inside this you pass the data. So whenever you pass input in array format, the key value of this data is understood as column, and then your value will be understood as your column values. So you can just update here array values of data, and this is the values. Perfect. So guys, we have got the column and values, and now let's separate them by comma and make it as a insert query process. So let's create one file and column variable equal to use the implode function, and just make each columns separated by comma and then the data columns. Okay, so these column values we are just separating them by comma. Okay, all set. So same way guys, for the values also, let's create a final values equal to, and here we are going to do few changes, like add a single quote in beginning, and now concatenate again double quotes inside that single quotes. Okay, semicolon, and now use the implode function. So let's use the implode function, and inside this implode function use a double quote and then again single quotes, give comma and give a space here. Okay, and now guys send the value. So dollar values. Perfect, done. So our values also is ready. Let me zoom it more so it will be more clear. And now guys, you can write down the query, which is insert into the table name. So we have the table here, let's specify it, and the column field names and the values equal to your final values. So this is my final column, use it, and this is the final value. Done guys. And now let's see the result for this. Dollar result equal to, so basically we are executing the above written query inside using a MySQL query function. So first the database connection, which we have declared over here, and then your above written query. All set. And now you can return this true or false of your result. Done. Perfect. So our insert function is ready and we can use through our complete project. Done. And now guys, let's begin with the update query. Let me write the command update data using this function. Okay, so function name is update, give the connectivity of database. And now guys, we have to get the table name. So let me just copy from above, copy the table name and validate it. So you need to pass from the update function. We have the data, and second column we are not going to pass the input field, instead we are going to pass the ID, any ID. Okay, to update that record, and then you're going to pass your data. So that data is nothing but your input data with the table column fields. So now copy and paste and get the ID. So we are getting this ID. Done. Let's create one empty variable. So update data string equal to double quotes empty, and use a for each loop to loop all the data. So whatever data you send in the array. So we are looping this array as dollar column of dollar value. Okay, so it's very simple here. And now you need to use this variable, string variable with dot equal to dollar column and concatenate. Okay, concatenated, and then again give double quotes and inside single quotes give the dollar value. Perfect. So it's concatenating and storing inside one variable guys. So it's a simple process, and we have missed that comma here. Let's final update data equal to, let me remove last comma from this updated string value. Use a substring and use a trim function to empty the spaces, the first and last of this variable. Okay, once emptied, you are going to tell from beginning of the this string value you're not going to remove anything, but from the last you're going to remove one string, okay, one character. That will be your last ending comma, okay, this comma you'll be ending. So we are removing that. And now guys, finally your variable is ready to update into your SQL query. So let's write the query update $table and set the final column fields. So final update column fields or update data, you are sending that string variable and select with the id $id. Perfect, done. And now guys, let's execute the above query with the help of mysqli query function. Give the database connectivity and then your query. All done. And whatever result you face here, like true or false, just return that. So our update query is also ready guys, okay, as simple. And now let's write with the get all the data first. So let's create the function as the function name get all and open and close curly brace. So inside this all you are going to pass the table name comma and status, like if you want active or not active. So if you want you can pass, or else you can make it as null, equal to null. So it's not mandatory that you have to pass this value. So now guys, let's write the condition here. So first we will filter this table and status. So use a global to get the database connection. And now create a variable table equal to, where you need to validate that value using the validate function, and the table name. Same way for the status also guys. So copy and paste here, and you can paste that status finally. And now let's write the if else condition here, because we need to get all the data and also with the status data, okay. So add a if condition, if $status double equal to status, okay. So you can either pass the status or any data, so you can check conditionally here. And now let's write the query here, query equal to, where select star from the table name, so $table, where status, okay. So either you use this variable or you can directly use the status variable, equal to inside single quotes and mention here 0 or 1 according to your conditions, okay. 0 means show the data, 1 means hide the data. So we can understand that status as per this condition. So right now I'm going to keep static only, because I'm mentioning that this is only for status part, okay. So if you want to utilize in different way, like instead of status you want is active or anything else, you can just use this variable and put there, okay. So right now we will follow this. And now guys, let's use the else condition, like when I don't want any status data, you can directly use this query without where condition, so you can get all the records from that table. And now let's return and execute the query. So these are my two queries, so anyone we can execute. First give the database connection and then your query guys. So whatever result you get, you will just return that and you can utilize in the front end side, as simple. And now guys, let's write the function for get each record, okay. Let's create a function and get by id, okay. Create a function, open and close curly brace. So inside this function you pass your $table name and then $id. And then guys, let's give the connection here, call the database connection using global. And then let's again do the same for the table and other variables. So let's paste here and copy and paste here id, and this is your table name and this will be the id. Perfect. So we have got the, now let's write the query like select star from $table, where id equal to inside single quotes $id, and add a limit, like only one record you should be able to fetch. And now let's execute this above query and store in a variable called result. So with the help of MySQL query function, you are going to execute the above query. So first you are going to call the connection and then your query. Okay. And now guys, let's check here in if condition if result is true or false. So if it is true, you are going to show some process, else you are going to tell like something went wrong. So let's create one variable called response equal to inside array format we will send the data. Okay, so let me create one method like status equal to 500 for something went wrong, and message you want to send in the front end side is like something went went wrong. Okay, and you can just return this variable dollar response. All set. So same way guys, you are going to copy this and paste inside this result. So let's see. Okay, so now guys, according to this query, we have got the data and it is true, then you are going to count how many records are there. So with the help of MySQL number of rows function, you are going to count how many data is there. So if the data is equal to 1, only one record is there, then show the data, else you are going to tell like not found. Okay, let's copy and paste here. Then you can mention 4 not 4 and tell no data found. Same way, if data is found, then you are going to show create a variable called row equal to mysql I underscore fetch array function and dollar result of mysql I associate data. Okay, so guys, either you can do in this format or else we can use another format like you have direct function. So let me just show you that row equal to mysqli fetch associate data. Okay, so it's directly given over here, result done. So if you want, you can remove that and you can utilize directly. And now guys, let's store the data in this response. Let me paste here. Now you can utilize this row of data and send in one data variable like dollar data in the array and send that as simple. And here you can mention record found. So we have done for like fetch single row of data using a function. And now let's create the final function about the delete. Okay, delete data. So delete data from database using id. Okay, let's create the function here and tell delete function, and inside this for delete function you pass the table name and the data id. Okay, that row id. And now you need to get the id, and let me copy all this basic validation and paste here. So I paste that table name and id. And now guys, you need to write the query equal to delete from the table name, where id equal to inside single quotes you paste that dollar id and add a limit like only one record at a time you have to delete. And now whatever result you get, let's try to store that and execute the above query with the help of mysql query function. First the database connection and then your query. And now guys, you can return this dollar result as true or false. Okay, in the front end side. Done. So guys, we have successfully completed with all the basics function which we need to build this application. Okay, so guys, let's continue in next video with new topic of this application. So thank you for watching this video guys. Please subscribe, like and share.